Hello, everybody. This is Jeff back from my vacation. Went on vacation, came home, got COVID. Hey, what are you going to do? That's part of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, I think. We were on hiatus for the month of July, but we are back. And we got a really good guest tonight. So I think what we need to do is bring on the cutest Canuck I have ever seen in my life. Let's bring her on. There she is. That's the cutest Canuck I've ever seen in my life.
And you know what? You
What?
have been to Canada, so you can say that.
That's it.
There
I
you
was
go.
there. And it was
Slam.
hot. It was hot. It was the only time it was cold was when we were on the train.
Ah,
Kept bringing me drinks. you know, but they cranked up the air conditioning and it got a little chilly. But outside, no, it was in
won-
the 80s
wonderful,
most of the time.
wonderful.
Even up when we were way up at Lake Louise, 7,500 feet,
Mhm.
it was probably close to 80.
Mm,
Yeah, so it
very
was it
nice.
was pretty warm. The,
Very
the
nice.
altitude kind of got me a little bit, but other than that, it was very, very pretty.
Nice.
And I never did see in any of the menus that we were at, I
Hmm.
did not see any poutine.
Ah,
I have had poutine before.
yes. Have you had Canadian made poutine?
In Quebec City,
Okay, that's to me that's the best poutine in Canada is the one in Quebec City.
and it was good. But I never did see a beaver tail.
Oh, that's too
Yeah,
bad.
I didn't see, and trust me, I was looking because we went to some of the best bakeries,
Ah,
in Victoria.
yes.
There's one called Murchie's that's just out of this world.
Mhm.
So we went there, and then in Vancouver there was a couple that were really good. And then, of course, we were staying at Fairmont's, and they had a number of good baked goods and stuff. So
Mhm.
a lot
Yes.
of good wine,
I'm sorry, say that again?
a lot of good wine,
Ah.
and I never did see any Sleemans.
Well, that's too bad. I was hoping that you would be able to taste some Sleemans. I really was. But
Well, I looked for it, but in the hotels and stuff, they just didn't really have any. So,
that's too bad. You
um,
missed it. You missed out. You missed out on Sleemans.
so I had to drink some Corona. That's probably what gave me the
I
COVID.
think so.
You think?
Probably.
Could be. Could be.
Because it wasn't the mountain air, that's for sure.
No, it wasn't. And it was even warm up on the glacier we went to.
Yeah.
Of course, I got my sneaks on. Of course, we get off this, extreme Humvee thing that they take you down there to, or up there,
Yeah.
and it's kind of melty. So first thing I do, step in a damn puddle. My shoe fills up with cold water. Ah,
Well,
yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
it's all part of the experience.
Yeah, yeah. And we did had absolutely no trouble at the airports, which was
That's because you
uh,
didn't fly out of Pearson in Toronto. They just rated that the world's worst airport.
well, I would have to differ with him there. I think you give that to Atlanta and Chicago because all the cancellations and
Yeah.
stuff that happens, it seems like it originates in either Chicago at O'Hare
Mm,
or at Hartsfield in Atlanta.
yeah.
And Delta is one of the worst. So,
Hmm.
anyways, we ought to say hello to some people, don't you think?
Sure, let's do that.
Well, Andrew T was the first one in the chat. Hello, Andrew. Glad that you joined us tonight. So let's see if I can scroll here and see. Dirty Paws Detecting, Mike and Trish. Hey, guys, glad that you're with us, and you're going to be on the show here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is on the
Two.
18th.
Is it 2 weeks from today?
Yep, 18th.
There you go.
You'll get to meet Mike and Trish, Dirty Paws Detecting, and trust me, you will enjoy them for sure. Great folks.
Right.
Great folks. And let's see who else is here. Gene P. Hello, Gene. Now we need to get you rescheduled, so you need to call me. And let's get you back on the books, kiddo. And so that's another one you'll want to meet for sure. Robert Ridgway. Hey, Robert. Glad that you're with us tonight. And it is good to be back. Let's see. Mark Thomas. Oh, row, row, row. We're going to row, row, row our boat tonight. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So let's see who else is here. Robert Ridgway says, "Hey, you little Canadian, how's the weather up there?"
Very humid. Very humid today.
And we got the Mumbles man in the house.
Yes.
Hey, Mumbles. He's my brother from another mother, my very special brother. And the 717 detector is with us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I think he just jumped on me. John David, the Mr. Plays in the Dirt, the man that inspired the Blue Spade Society, is with us tonight. He's my other special brother from another mother. So, see, I got 3 special brothers from other mothers. I got the Mumbles man.
Mm-hmm.
I got John David. And then I got the guru, Phil Myers. But I only got one sister from another mister. And she's a Canuck, eh? I know, I am bad, ain't I?
That's all right. You have COVID. That's okay.
That's the excuse I'm going to use.
Use it. Use it for all it's worth.
Mandy Brown is in the house. Hello, Mandy. Glad that you joined us tonight. Let's see who else is here. We may be getting caught up.
No, my friend John Harvey is in the house.
Oh, yeah? Good, good, good. Mine's jumping all around here like a Mexican jumping bean.
Jimmy Berube Levesque is in the house, and he says, Liz, you are 100% right on the poutine. We have the best in Quebec City.
It was good. It was good. That was a couple 3 years ago.
Oh.
We went on a bus trip. And we left Madison, Florida here on the bus.
Oh.
And we rode all the way up there on the bus.
Oh, wow.
That was a little too much for me. I just take a plane.
Wow.
Thank you very much. And I was
Yeah.
going up with them there, you know. Woo.
Did you? I just want to say before, if anybody goes to Quebec City, you must try the maple syrup pie. It is the most decadent thing that you will ever eat. Hands down. Maple syrup pie in Quebec City with coffee. Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
Oh my gosh.
Really good.
Oh my gosh. At a cafe, roadside cafe. Oh my gosh. I could
really?
I could taste it right now. Seriously.
That is interesting.
That's my happy place.
And some of the things you told me to try, I just never did see.
Well, maybe next time.
You know, so the next time, I hope to find it because I was kind of looking forward to it. But we'll get there. Delco Detecting is in the house. Hey, Delco Detecting, thanks for joining us. And let's see who else.
Maria Reese is in the house.
Hey, Maria, how are you? She is a killer detectress. She's a very, very accomplished beach hunter, and she's a good dirt digger too. Tried to get her on the show. She's shy. She don't want to come on.
That's okay. That's
and we got somebody from Facebook that says, "Hi, Jeff and Liz." I don't know who it is.
Hello, Facebook people.
But that might be Tom Becker. I don't know. The Key Date Kid. Hey, right here. The Key Date Kid. If any of y'all don't know who the Key Date Kid is, that's Casey, Excalibur Shovels, who hands down makes the best digging products on the planet Earth.
Amen to that.
And he makes them in all kinds of colors. He's got some really, really nice ones. He's got a wider shovel now, but he makes them for the ladies that want to support breast cancer, and for the men, he makes it in Palisades pink. So that is, and any kind of school color you want, Casey can handle it, and in any variations you want. Plus, he has that, and you've got one. I know you've got two. I think
I have
the Merlin.
4 behind me.
The Merlin is just absolutely a
Yes.
stunner, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So, Casey, how you doing, buddy? And we've got Great Finds is in the house. And let's see who else is here. We may be getting caught up.
The Digging Duo has joined us. They just put out a great video today. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, must watch.
Oh heck yeah!
Mm-hmm.
They're good. We need to get them back on.
Yes.
So
Maybe
Diggun
in the
Duo.
fall. Yeah.
I need to get up with you so we can get you guys back on here. So be expecting an email from me. If you don't get one within a week, send me one. Because I'm old and my mind's going. Let's see. Oh, boy.
Tot Lot Bandit.
I haven't gotten that far yet. You're way ahead of me.
Sorry.
No, that's good because, there it is. Yay, Tot Lot Bandit. How you doing? Let's see. We may be getting to the end.
JBP Hobbyist is in the house.
Oh, hey, JBP. We're going to see your pretty face next week.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. That girl takes the junk that she finds. We all find it. But she turns it into art, and she's pretty good, isn't she?
Yeah. We check ours, but she creates.
I tried to get her. I told her I'd send it to her. She said no. Let's see. I think we might be getting down to the end here.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think we did. And I don't know if anybody out around was out digging today. I hope you stayed hydrated.
Yes, important.
And tried to stay cool because, like Liz said up there, for you got kind of stormy weather, don't you? But it's real humid.
Yeah, crazy.
And here we've got yeah, I mean, it's 96, 97 degrees and probably 90% humidity.
I'll take it.
So, 717 detector says, any keys you don't want, donate at your local dialysis clinic. Anybody can send me an email and you could send them to me. I've not heard that before. That's interesting, isn't it? About the keys.
So donate your keys to your local dialysis clinic. Kind of like with remember the pull tabs for wheelchairs, I think is what they used to do here. Well, that's what they used to do here.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, you get enough pull tabs and people donate them. I guess you could, most of them are aluminum or whatever.
Yes.
And then they recycle, turn them in for the recycling money or whatever. That sounds interesting to me. That's something to, a lot of clubs. If anybody out there is involved in a club,
yes,
I know a number of people are involved in a club. And I don't know, do you have a club up there by you?
I'm sorry, a club for what? I was reading a com. Yes, we do have one. Yes.
And you are a member?
Not this year, no, but I have been a member in the past.
Okay. Well, I just was wondering, that'd be something good for a club to do.
Yes. Actually, the 717, he actually said that he does the keys for Camp Kidney, kids with kidney disease, and all you need to do is donate any keys you don't want.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
So that'd be something maybe for the clubs to do.
Yeah.
Pull tabs, whatever. Even
yes.
Any kind of the iron junk, you can take that and sell it too. To certain places.
It's a good cause.
that might be something to do, and make a donation to the charity of the club's choice. I think that'd be a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because most of the people that I know, uh, they they pull the junk off the site. For whether if they're beach hunting, they take it with them. They're
Mm-hmm.
out digging, they take it with them. Um, so uh, put it to good use.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, well, we're getting down here. So, we have got a very nice guest tonight, and I'm going to let you do the intros.
All right. Well, our next guest, our first guest, our only guest today, is called Diggun, and Diggun hails from South Dakota. Never been there, but yeah, let's bring Diggun on.
Yeah, I'd like to go to South Dakota.
Yeah.
Okay, here she is. Let's get the thing switched around. There we are. Hello there, Ro.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good for the shape I'm in. How about you?
Oh, we're doing great here. Had to inhale dinner real quick before I came on, but it's all good.
That's right. You're on Central Time, aren't you?
Yes, we are. And we were grilling, so we had to rush the food. So, but it's all good. I'm here.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there shouldn't be anybody that really doesn't know you, but if there is, some of the people from around the world possibly that are watching, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody a little bit about you, what you like to do, and all that kind of good stuff.
All right. Well, my name's Ro, and I dig with my husband, Eric, sometimes. He works a lot, so sometimes not. And I studied historical archaeology in school. And when Eric and I got married almost 6 years ago, we were just randomly talking one day about how neat it would be to go metal detecting. And so we bought a detector and we shared it for, I don't know, a month. And that's the most horrible thing ever. Not share a detector with anybody.
Share the shovel with him. Let him dig the holes.
No, you know, when you share a detector, you have to scan and mark where you think is interesting, and then you give the detector to your partner, and then you have to go dig holes. And by that time, you don't remember what you're going after. And there's a big difference between, a quarter surface find and a 10-inch hole that may have a dime in it, right? And so we would be sitting there like, I'd have 5 or 6 targets flagged, and I could not tell what it was by the time I got in there. So about a month into the hobby, I went out and I bought an AT Max, and we were sharing it. It was a White's Prism. It was kind of a middle, kind of beginner machine. So I went out, I got an AT Max, and I started detecting circles around Eric. I mean, he would go over an area with the Whites. I asked him if he wanted a machine. He's like, no, I'll keep the old one. And I found a standing Liberty quarter on the steps to this old mercantile that he had already scanned over. And at that point, he said, well, your machine's better than mine. And this was like a year into detecting. So I went out on eBay and I bought him the exact same machine. And so we both were running the AT Max up until this year. And I was still kind of doing better than he was. I think because I get out more, for starters, and some of it's dumb luck. And I dance around like a butterfly when I'm detecting, and he grids back and forth and up and down. He like very methodically does the grid, and I sort of dance around, find all the high tones, and dig happy little holes for him. So it's definitely a different type of detecting. So anyway, this year I did upgrade. I went and got a Legend, and that's what I'm using primarily now. We detect mostly old. We have these towns that were all railroad spur towns out here that are all but gone. I mean, I'll have these towns that have like 3 people left in them, or 5 people left, and most of them are abandoned lots. You have to figure out who owns that lot, but a lot of times people are open to letting you detect. And so been doing a lot of that. I have 2 ghost towns lined up that are just cellar holes where there used to be a town. And we're just right now I got the permissions a little late in the year. The grass is real tall, so unless they hay it, it'll be spring before I get out there. And yeah, I do a lot of not a lot of park detecting, mostly just home sites, a lot of neighborhood, like residential detecting. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I have my channel is Diggun. I do live streams twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. I'm in Monday Digs and I Dig Fridays, and I live stream afterwards. And we play stupid games for stupid prizes, and it's fun. So that's kind of what I do. And you're laughing because you know about the stupid games for stupid prizes, yeah. And I live on a hobby farm, so sometimes I stream in the morning just from my farm when I'm feeding my chickens and stuff, just randomly. And that actually reaches out to a lot of more international people because they're up in the middle of the day and it's 7 a.m. here. But, you know, I get people from Australia and from the UK coming in and kind of checking out my pad when I'm out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of times we do in our live streams. We've got a lot of people that are members of Treasure Talk and Treasure Tales from the UK and Australia and all around the world, but it's the time difference. You know, Australia doesn't work out so badly when we have guests from Australia because it's about 9 o'clock in the morning when we go live on Monday nights at 7. With Treasure Talk, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So that kind of works out. But sometimes in the UK, you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and I mean, I go to a lot of streams that are in the UK, but it's like weird times, and it's night for them, and it's 2 in the afternoon. And if I'm goofing off, sometimes I'll just go in and hop in on like Dark Knight Detectorist, or there's a few different guys I kind of follow over there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started detecting, I pretty much just watched the big boys detect, like the Hoover Boys and Quarter Hoarder and those guys. But I find that small channels are actually more entertaining. And it's just more interesting to see real people that are just out enjoying the hobby. So that's what I try to do is support small channels. I do post a channel a day on my community page to help people discover new channels that, you know, could use a little boost. And yeah, it's all just, you know, it's really neat. You just make new friends and get to go detecting with new people. And I really like that.
Yeah, I saw a really neat YouTube video the other day. They found the flux capacitor.
Now,
Yeah.
whose was that?
Oh, I don't know. I think she might be a Canadian girl. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You know, I got the flux capacitor.
That was I gotta say that was a very subtle plug there, Jeff. Thank you for that. Cheers to you, Jeff.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I got it. You're gonna have to watch that right after our stream tonight.
I will. What was it really, though?
It was a flux capacitor from the Back to the Future
It
DeLorean.
can't really be one. It's got to be something else.
No, it's a flux capacitor.
Okay. You know, we did our show Monday night. We had a Whatchamahoozy show, and we had people send in things, and we were trying to figure out what they were. And everybody had a different theory about what something was, and we were just collectively trying to figure out what these random pieces of iron were. It was actually really fun.
You know what? There's always somebody somewhere that knows what that thing is. There's always somebody that knows. Always.
Unless they died like, you know, 80 years ago. You know, just really.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we're doing a bucket list show on Friday, but really, you know, it's interesting because everybody's got a different take on the hobby and what they do. And, you know, some people are looking for the history. Other people, you know, they're happy doing tot lots and, you know, looking for the random piece of jewelry they might find among the 800 pieces of aluminum foil they picked up first.
So going back to you. So what you have the interest in archaeology and all that. What led you to create your YouTube channel? Because that's really not something most people, other than people that we know, do. So what was the basis of you creating the channel for?
Well, it was actually, I would go out detecting and I would take pictures of stuff I find and I send them to my husband who was at work just to needle him. And, you know, I found one of the times I was scanning, I got a really high tone and I flipped up the plug and I found a seated dime. And I'm like, that can't possibly be this. I mean, it was a 95. It was a really good tone. And that's not a dime tone on an 18 Max, not at all. So I dug around a little bit more and I found a Morgan dollar. And then I scanned the hole again and I found a Barber half, all in the same thing. And I sent him a picture of it and he's like, why didn't you get that on video? So I started taking video of stuff. And it wasn't till COVID came around that some of my favorite creators were all locked down and weren't putting out videos. And so I just started putting out videos, and it was the first ones are really bad. They're just short and choppy, and I didn't know to turn you got to turn the camera a certain way. Didn't know that. And so it was just kind of a learning curve. But at this point, I have this channel, and I also have a channel for my son for homeschooling. And it's a matter of getting all of this footage off my phone because I'm filling up. Do you know what I mean? And I would sit on footage and I wouldn't put it out. So at this point, that's why I'm putting out 2 videos a week. I'm trying to get caught up with everything that I'm doing. And, I've got videos from the spring I haven't put out yet. And it forces me to put out 2 videos a week and really get caught up on that and move forward. But yeah, it was really, kind of giving back. Not that any of these big boys were watching me anyway. They're all way too busy watching people they know, right? But it's kind of a fun thing. And, now, I'm involved with different channels and, I've done a couple collaborative hunts, and that's really fun because you get to meet different people and detect different ways. I went out with Teresa, the treasure hunter, and we went out to the Black Hills and we went to an old gold mine. And we were looking for an area where they found the bodies of 3 miners. And but the guy that owns the gold mine said, well, if you want, you could play in the pay dirt and feel free. And so we were over there kind of trying to gold pan, doing a really horrible job of it. He was not available to come with us because his car broke down. And we're going to go back out because we've never found the site where they exhumed the bodies. And it'd be really cool. The guy found a boot that had sterling silver studs and jewels on it. And the boot still had toe bones in it. So the archaeological team in South Dakota Archaeological Department, they came out, they exhumed the bodies, and then they gave him back the boot. And the boot still had the toe bones in it. So he has that on his porch. It's like a display thing for him. But it's wow. Yeah, we wanted to find this spot where the miners were that they passed because I thought there'd be a lot more finds. He found some really cool stuff just sort of digging around randomly, but never went out with a detector. So it's just really fun. I really enjoy the fact that people can interact and, go out and do fun stuff. I think that's it's fun when you dig with the other people and kind of, you share that hobby and, it's not, sometimes you go out with people and it's all competition to who can pick the high tones first. But sometimes it's like, you really are happy the person is finding stuff too, right? So,
absolutely. If you're not finding stuff, let someone else find some stuff.
Yeah. So, and there's a challenge right now. I'm going to be doing a head-to-head competition. Are you familiar with Can You Dig It, Juice?
Oh, yeah.
Juice is doing a thing where they have a pay it forward metal detector that you can win if you go head to head and you win this tournament. And I volunteered to do this, and we're going to go head to head he's going to match up people like beach hunters with beach hunters and, like relic hunters with relic hunters. And, he's going to do these one-on-one live competitions and then you'll go up the ladder. And if you win, you get a Vanquish 440 to give away to somebody. So I'm going to do that. I told him I would love to have that to give away when I hit my 2,000 subscriber mark. So we'll see what happens.
Very good. Now, we've got a question for you, Ro, from Jean P. She wants to know, where did you study historical archaeology, archaeologically, or whatever it is, archaeology, whatever.
That's okay. You have COVID, Jeff.
I'm just drinking green tea. So and she wants to know, have you ever worked as an archaeologist?
Okay.
So where?
I actually studied at UC Berkeley in California, And I started that when I was a freshman. I went to college I graduated high school when I was 16. So I was a 17-year-old freshman. And I started taking archaeology classes, and they immediately put me on digs with the graduate students. So I actually worked on 2 different archaeological digs while I was in school. Mostly, it was all graduate students were on these digs, but I was in there too, which was cool. I did not graduate with a historical archaeology degree because I freaked out a little bit when I was a junior. I decided I might want a job when I graduated. And so my degree is actually in economics, but it's always just been a real love of mine. So I looked at the women in the field and realized that I'd have to A, get a PhD, and B, be ready to live in a tent for the next 20 years and expect never to get a hot bath or a manicure. So I went the other way and went into business. I got my MBA instead. And now I work in web design and in project management. So this is just the historical archaeology part of it. It's just really interesting to me. I like doing the research, and I like doing the, finding stuff. I think especially finding old relics is really cool, and getting the story behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's neat.
In your area, you're in South Dakota.
Uh-huh.
You're in South Dakota?
I am in I'm in central South Dakota.
Central South Dakota.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Was there any the Indian cavalry Wild West type activity around you? I'm sure there had to be some.
Yes, the Indian Wars was pretty much everywhere in South Dakota as settlers moved west. A lot of them stopped in Minnesota, and South Dakota was that territory that the settlers would go out and the Indians would slaughter them. So the settlers would go out and the Indians would kill them. And they ended up building Fort Sisseton as the farthest west outpost back in like 1870, around that time. And one of my episodes about a month ago, I put out a Fort Sisseton. We went camping at Fort Sisseton, and we got permission to go detecting everywhere except for the cemetery, which is cool. I didn't want to detect the cemetery. And the only thing you can detect there with permission of the park, and the park says, well, we'll let you detect, no problem, as long as you turn in everything. And we're okay with that because we got to find history. And they actually let us go all throughout the fort itself. In the inner part of the fort where the old laundress quarters were, the laundresses were the only women, except for occasionally they would have an officer's wife. But the laundresses would live there, and the enlisted men would pay them to clean their laundry. And some of them would end up marrying the enlisted men because, they were the only men or the only women on the fort. And we got to detect around their quarters. The laundresses were actually interesting because they, there was a lot of talk about, because they would take the money from the paymaster for doing the work. The men themselves didn't pay them. But, you kind of had to wonder if they were the only women out there, if they had any side gigs going on, because you kind of got to wonder. And that whole fort thing was interesting. It got converted to a hunting lodge in the 40s, and Clark Gable had hunted there with a bunch of celebrities. And I actually found a Joe Louis bank. It was an old mustard jar and it had, I picked it up out of the dirt. It was actually poking its head out of the dirt in this pile. And I dug it out a little, and it's his face. And I'm like, what is this? And I looked it up, and it was a bank that was, let's see if I got mine. This is what it looks like. Oh, here, I have things in it. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this face is like this African guy, and it was full of mud, and it was the most beautiful jar I'd ever seen. I don't know. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, right there.
So I found this, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I looked it up and figured out what it is. This is not the jar I found. I turned in the jar to the park, and then I went home and I bought this on eBay because I felt sad I didn't have my jar anymore. So this is an eBay jar, but I found that just sitting there like in a pile of, I guess they threw their garbage in back in the day in the 40s, and it was still there, intact and perfect. So, but yeah, the Indian War stuff, Fort Sisseton was interesting because they built out a fort on the edge of civilization, and they would assign the soldiers to go out there, and the soldiers would be like, no, we don't want to go there because it was a horrible place to be. And they actually would revolt and they would just refuse to go. And they'd get them out there and the soldiers would run away. And the soldiers they'd run away and people would go get them and they'd bring them back and they'd put them in soldier jail. And they had like a whole thing of quarters where they put you if you were naughty because you kept trying to run away. And one poor guy, he tried to run away like 17 times. They kept bringing him back, sticking him in solitary. And I think the 17th time he ran away, he finally got away because they never heard from him again. But somebody probably shot him. Who knows? So it's a really interesting story about it. And I thought that was really cool to get to dig there. So,
wow.
So have you found any like cavalry items?
I have found Civil War items because our town was founded by Civil War veterans. A lot of the things, like my husband found an Eagle belt plate, and it's a Civil War era, but now that we're looking at it, it may have been Indian War era. I mean, it's like one was right on top of the other, and the design is the same. So it's really just a matter of digging out where they have, like, I know where there's an encampment now that was a cavalry encampment. It is on private land and half of it's underwater, but it'd be interesting to traipse out there and see what we could find.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of what I do, I'm in small towns, so I'm finding more of the coins. I found 5 World War II medals in the same town. And I actually ran into a lady who I used to bowl with like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And she told me the story about why I found all these medals. And it was because this one lady in town had 5 sons or 7 sons, and every last one of them was in the military. And she was telling me, those 2 sons, those 2 brothers lived at this house. And that was where I found one of the medals. And she told me who lived in each house in that town that I found the medal in. So it was actually pretty cool. But we get a lot of World War II relics there. They're newer, obviously, than the cavalry stuff. And it's just always a challenge to get out there and see what you can find. So
is your husband still using the AT Max?
He is. He is a diehard on. He likes to. He's very frugal. He was born and raised on a farm. He has that farmer mentality. He will use that Max until it withers in his hands.
Right on. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I figured he was trying to commandeer your Legend.
No, he just, I like the Legend because it's lighter. And I was actually having issues last year with my arm starting to hurt from the Max. And I run the small coil, but it's got that battery pack, with the 4 AA batteries. That just adds to the weight. And the Legend doesn't have that. It's nice. And if you run the tiny coil on the Legend, it is so just light and delightful. So, and I would go Expedeus, but I can't afford that because I understand those are super light. And Liz, didn't you get an Expedeus too?
I do, and it is super light. The only detector that's even lighter than that is the XP ORX. So really? I highly recommend the ORX is a better price point for people to get into. So for people that are having issues, it's a great detector. It practically doesn't weigh anything.
Now, does the ORX, are they still producing it, or is that now deprecated?
Absolutely, yes. There's actually a lot of places are they're discounted for, I think, the summertime, while because the XB Deus 2 is being crazily sold. Yeah, well, definitely.
I heard that the Amphibio was already discontinued. That Quarter Horn and those guys were all over the Amphibio a couple of years ago. Now that the Note to Macro has put out the Legend, the Amphibio has been discontinued. They had them on Calico for I don't know, it was like $300. It was super cheap, and they were clearing them out because they don't sell them anymore. So
I don't know. I'll have to ask Gillick about that.
Yeah, Gillick has been awesome. She has sent me all sorts of goodies for my Relics Bingo game. She sent me out a bunch of Note to Macro T-shirts and some patches, and she gave me a couple things I'm going to save for my next giveaway. She gave me a dig bag and a digging tool that, it's beautiful. It just will cost a bit to ship it. So I actually have that for a bigger giveaway instead of just for bingo. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I offer relic bingo twice a week. And you get a card. It's got all the different things people could find. Instead of like B4 or whatever, you get a card that has relics on it. And then when you watch the premieres during iDig Fridays or during Monday Digs, you mark off the things that people find, and the first person bingo wins. So it's just kind of a fun little side game for the people that are watching. So I have my background's in marketing, so I stupid games for people to play because I think it's fun.
I'm curious as to the going back to what you personally have found. What would you say is the most oddest thing that you have found? You personally.
Oddest. Well, I did find a token that was from the 1900 presidential election. And this was the election where Teddy Roosevelt was turned into our president because the guy that he was running as the VP and the president died before they inaugurated him. And the interesting thing about this, once upon a time, we all used to have money that was worth something. And it was backed by gold and it was backed by silver. And in the 1900 election, the opponents were proposing they go off the silver standard and have money no longer backed by silver. So the President Roosevelt and his campaign team came up with a mechanical dollar, and it looked just like a gold dollar. It had a proud eagle on one side, and on the other side, it said, "Gold standard, your dollar means 100 cents." And it was a mechanical dollar because then you could rotate it. And then it said, "Free silver, your dollar means 50 cents." And they flip it over, and the eagle also moves from being proud and majestic to being sad and dejected. And it's just an amazing little token. When I dug it, I actually, for a minute there, I thought I found a gold coin because it has that gold tone to it. And it was toning big, but it was just this amazing relic. And, I think it's odd that they would have had that, complicated or intricate of a political campaign button back in the day, because now they just put out those little pinbacks, things that just say vote whoever. It's not that that was actually a pretty neat thing that they did.
What's your favorite find?
My favorite find, I got a capped bust quarter from 1856. And it's hold. And the funny thing about it is it was a ground find when I was camping in an area they used to do reenactments, because the hold quarter still had leather in it, and the leather was not degraded. So, as I believe, but that's got to be one of my favorite finds right now.
Right on. Good
that
stuff.
changes day to day, though. You never
Well, yeah. Is there something that you want to find you haven't found, something that's eluding you, but if you found it, you'd be like, I'm good?
I would like to find a flying eagle set, because I've got Indians, but I've never found a flying eagle. I also would love to find a peace dollar someday, because I have found 4 Morgan dollars now, and I still cannot find a peace dollar.
Yeah,
and
that's a beautiful dollar. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah, but they're newer. They should be out there, right? And for some reason, I have not been able to find one.
Maybe you will one day. Maybe you will.
Maybe
one day you will.
What are you looking for, Liz, that you have not found?
I want to dig a mercury dime.
Are you serious?
100% serious.
Well, I guess because you're in Canada, it's a little harder to find them.
I just like to dig one. That's all.
You come on down to South Dakota. You come visit, and we'll go. I'll take you out, and we'll find you a mercury dime.
Sure. I'm serious.
Where in Canada are you? Are you like right north of me, or are you over to the left or right?
I am 1 hour west of Buffalo.
Okay, so you're way east. Okay. Well, you could come down. It's just, you'd have to come down and over and,
Yeah.
But you could definitely do that. Or just go to one of the, they have all sorts of stuff like just over, like that's Niagara Falls-ish, right? Or not? Yeah. Now, you guys are you guys still locked down at all in Canada, or can you freely leave the country and come back in without any issues?
Without any issues, I'm going to say no. That's
Okay.
that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. Well, I'm hoping all this stuff blows over sooner or later and people will be free to travel without restrictions, because I don't know.
Exactly. I totally 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But you are always welcome to come down. You just, get a hold of me and say, yes, I'm coming to South Dakota. You fly into Bismarck, which is North Dakota. I'll come get you and I'll take you, like, I have all sorts of places we can go detecting and have some fun. And you don't even have to bring your shovel. I'll hook you up with a big shovel. You just have to bring your detector.
Hey, I have a Merlin. I could take it into 2 pieces and fit in my luggage.
Well, you
right,
can,
Jeff?
Except
right, Jeff?
How much does it weigh?
It weighs nothing.
Really? So it's not going to put you in the over, like,
heck
where?
No. How much clothing do you need to go metal detecting? Not a lot.
I don't know. I always get in trouble for having suitcases that weigh too much. So
nonsense.
Well, it's called prioritizing.
Exactly.
You can wear the same pair of pants for 3 or 4 days. Just take them in the shower with you.
Hey, camo doesn't show the dirt.
There you go.
That's right. That's why they call it camo. It hides the dirt.
Oh, goodness.
I flew out to California to go detecting, and I actually shipped an extra shovel and a sand scoop out there and picked it up at my sister's house, but I still had to get it back. And when I got it back, I got charged for overweight luggage. So, but I figured it was easier to just ship new ones over there than to try to carry them.
Well, with the airlines today, they're going to charge you for everything. Trust me. You don't even have to have overweight luggage. They still charge you for the luggage. But anyway, have you found much cavalry horse tack stuff?
I was just showing some in my mystery stuff yesterday. I was showing some cavalry or some horse tack. I can't say specifically it was cavalry. I did find the ones, there's these the things that go on the bridle that are heart shaped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I found one of those on a farmstead field, and I had no idea that was actually period.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a weird looking belt buckle or something, but you find out later what it is, and then you feel stupid that that's what you said on your video. But
because people correct you. People are quick to correct.
Yeah, well, a lot of times I'll be like, this is cool, don't know what it is, I'm gonna find out. It's just like, because
you're better. Yeah, you're better off that way.
But yeah, it's actually really cool. I should go out a little more in the areas that were just, unmarked farm fields. But to be honest, unless you're around a farmstead, you're going to spend a lot of time wandering around a field and hoping you get some kind of signal. And so I tend to go where there's broken glass or broken pottery or things that, show signs of life rather than just, randomly out in the field. Because we've got acres and acres of that. I mean, I could go my backyard. I've got 40 acres in the back. I could go start looking for cavalry stuff. I'd be over there for 8 years looking for something. So I might be a little lazy, but I try to go where I think that there's signs of life rather than just randomly hoping that there, some horse dropped a little bit of piece of something. But I did the other day. That was cool.
You never know. I mean, the pioneers, going across South Dakota, they could have went right through your back field. There could have been a wagon train you don't know nothing about that there's no record of necessarily. There could have been a whole bunch of stuff out there. So it might be worth investing a day, just kind of zigzagging around till you find some articles.
The interesting thing out here is that, we're all conditioned to drive on roads. But back in the day when people were they came to town, they didn't cut up 316 and over 212. They cut diagonally between their farm and wherever the town was.
A to B.
Yep. And so there's a lot of possibilities that people would have cut through, and I mean, not necessarily cavalry stuff, but, They could have dropped thimbles if they were, going on taking a wagon to town and mom was mending on the way or something. You could find a thimble or something cool, or coins even. So, that's true. I'm just not desperate enough to go dig in my own backyard, I guess, because I would rather look for, like, there's a town that was they created this town called Bangor, and the town was supposed to be it was the county seat for this county, and the railroad was supposed to come there, and the railroad decided not to. And so the town was only there for maybe 10 years, and they picked up every nail, board, and you name it, and moved 20 miles north to where the railroad was. And so there's a marker on the side of the road saying this is where the town was. And for 5 years, every time I drove by there, I would peek out on that field and look to see if the farmer that owned that would be anywhere nearby, so I could ask him if I could look for the town. Because, even though they picked up all the buildings, something could be there. Well, I was unable to find him for years. And then about a month ago, I was having lunch with a friend, and we were at this community event. And she said, well, why don't we all drive together? My brother will drive. We all hop in his truck. We get to talking. And he says, oh, yeah, I bring grain to your husband's elevator all the time. I asked him his last name, and he was the guy that I had been chasing for 5 years, was sitting in the truck with me. And I just was like, I have been looking for you for 5 years now. And he was like, huh, what? But he gave me permission, and I get to go look now for this town. And he even said he doesn't plant where the old town was because the cellar holes, the ground is uneven. So he told me exactly where to go. And one of these days when the weeds are not so bad, we're going to go out and go look for it. So it's the, really looking for where we're going to find the highest return rather than just randomly going in my backyard and hoping something shows up.
It might be time to invest in a bush hog.
What's a bush hog?
That is a big mower that you can go mow down all that stuff, put it behind a tractor.
Oh, okay. All right. That might be a little overkill, but okay.
Well,
my husband said I should bring the weed whacker with me. He told me I should bring the weed whacker because I wanted to do the church.
Well, this is an industrial weed whacker.
Yeah. I think that they might think I was a little weird to show up with a weed whacker so I could go detecting, though. Don't you think?
Well, weed whacker in one hand, detector in the other one.
Maybe you could combine them.
That's right.
You get a detector that has like a string feed, and it just goes around around the head while you're going back and forth.
That's right.
There'd be a whole different market there.
That's right. So now, do you still have a lot of the Native American tribes reservations or anything out around you?
There is a reservation on the West River. Basically, I am, if you look at South Dakota on a map, there is the Missouri River goes right down the middle, and there's East River and West River, and West River is primarily reservation, except for like the Black Hills. But even the Black Hills, there's Crazy Horse, there's native lands there too. On this side of the river, there are no reservations, but you do find some of the farms, they have old Native American Indian circles and things because, at one point there were no borders, there were no boundaries, and the natives went wherever they wanted to until they were rounded up and shoved onto a reservation. So I've had a few different landowners who have told me that they have native circles on their land and invited me to come check it out. But it is also illegal for us to collect Native American artifacts. Like if you see an arrowhead, you're not allowed to pick it up. So it's something that's protected, and they're supposed to let them be. So
yeah, well, stands to reason. So what's next for Diggun?
What do you mean? What's next?
What's some of your plans for the immediate future?
Well, we are doing a giveaway for our 1,500 subscriber giveaway, and we're about 80 subscribers off, I think, right now. And I'm putting together a scavenger hunt for that giveaway. I just put out my video tomorrow night will be the first keyword drop. When I did my 1,000 subscriber giveaway, I had this Easter egg hunt, and I would drop keywords in the videos, and you had to comment the keywords in order to enter. And so we're going to do some keyword stuff in this video and probably the next 3 or 4 videos. Each one will have a keyword. If you drop that in the comments, you'll enter to win. Not going to tell you what the keyword was, but the prize that I put out for this week is a silver buffalo. Or it's a buffalo round. So, you know, we'll put together stuff like that. This Friday, we're doing a bucket list show for my Friday night show that follows Friday Digs. And I started a new job like in the last couple weeks. So I have to be really conscious of getting all my detecting done after like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and also like on the weekends. It really, you know, working gets in the way of detecting.
Sometimes it does. Not for me, but.
Well, I'm not quite retired yet. So I picked up this job because I wanted to pay for I bought a little car last year so that I could drive around to these different locations to go detecting and get better gas mileage because my Armada was getting 12 miles to a gallon. So I got this little runaround car and I have to finish paying for it. So I'm working and trying to get my videos done.
Let's do that. Well, I tell you what, Ro, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I think everybody has certainly enjoyed it. And if they have not watched your shows, I think they need to do that. If they have not subscribed to your YouTube channel, they need to do that. And remember, when you subscribe, ask for the notifications so you know when something's going on.
Well, thank you. Can one of you please drop a link to my channel on chat? Because I noticed you don't have blue wrenches in there.
I don't have what?
We can put it in the description of the video. There are no mods. Yeah, I can put it in the description of the video.
Why do you have no mods? I'm just curious.
Because
we don't.
See, and I do the opposite. When I do live streams, everybody gets to be a mod because they can click on each other's channels and get to know one another.
Well, wonderful. That's a good thing. That's just not something that I've decided to do. So.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. See ya.
Bye.
Have a great night. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Wow. You know what? I learned some things today.
I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I think she's probably got so much history up there in certain areas. And I can kind of understand why she doesn't want to go out and dig in the field. But for me, I guess I'd just be curious enough where I think I'd want to give it an afternoon, a real nice afternoon, go out there and stroll and, because you never know what you're going to find,
Yeah, yeah.
So anyways, well, we got next week, we have got for everybody, we got JBP Hobbyist is going to be with us. Now, she's the one that takes all the junk she finds and she turns it into art, and she's got some serious talent, I want to tell you. And along with her will be Sergeant Whitey Sherrill. He's going to be a guest on Treasure Tales next week, so it stands to be a really good show.
Yes, absolutely.
And we want to thank everybody for joining us. I thank you, Liz, for putting up with me and helping me out here. Because I only like to work with the best. So anyways, now if y'all have an interest in being on Treasure Tales, so let the world know about you, what you like to do in your channel, if you have a YouTube channel, or just to stop in and say hello and let everybody meet you. I mean, there's certain people that have been trying to get on for a while, and if you know them, put a little heat on them, to come on the show, because what we always say is treasure stories, there's a million of them out there. Every one of them is unique, every one of them has meaning, and every one is valuable. And we want you to come on Treasure Tales, tell us your treasure story. Time to say goodnight, Miss Canuck.
Good night, Miss Canuck.
I don't know why. I knew that you were going to do that. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thanks
Have
for
a
watching.
yes. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Happy hunting and dig deeper.
All right.